Hey beauty babes, welcome to my channel. I am Maria, aka Agape Love Girl. Thank you so much for joining me today. Today I wanted to share with you something fun and creative. And it is my take on a palette, and it's not necessarily like any specific palette that I would have redone. I know that kind of idea came from Makeup Struggles. I've seen her do like her palette redesigns. So this isn't, it's kind of like a spin-off of that, but not quite the same thing. This is basically a palette that I designed that I would like to see Milani Cosmetics come out with. And the reason why I'm focusing on Milani Cosmetics is because I've kind of been talking about them a lot lately, at least I feel like I have. And I talked about how I really wish that they would come out with a more colorful palette that I would buy. Because for one, I think that the price range is good. $15 to $20 is really good. I'm happy with that. I know some people maybe are not so happy with that price, but I think that it is a great price. I've said this in almost all my videos. I'm sorry if I'm repeating myself, but I'm just letting you know. $20 is a great price for the palettes that they have because for one, they look beautiful, they feel high quality. They look like they would be a high-end brand, and then the quality of the shadows, the performance and everything is beautiful and works, and I highly recommend. I really do. Do I think you need them and everybody needs them? I can't say that. I mean, it really depends on your collection and what you need, but if you're looking for an affordable version of something that performs like high-end, I would recommend Milani Cosmetics, their palettes. Anyways, what kind of sparked this was they came out with two new palettes, Soft and Sultry and Pure Passion. And while I do think these palettes are beautiful, I just felt like I'm not gonna buy them because they're nothing unique to what I have. They're nothing that I feel like I need. Now, if I didn't have those type of colors, would I buy them? Yes. If you don't have anything like those shadows and need something in your collection, would I recommend them to you? Yes. But I'm just not going to buy because they're nothing that I need. I feel like those shadows have kind of been done in stuff that I already have. So my thought was like, I would love to see Milani come out with a more colorful palette. I would like to see that same packaging because it's beautiful, that same price range, $15 to $20. I guess it depends on where you buy. But these colors. And so what I put together was kind of a gemstone palette, and I would just love to see them come out with something like this, and then I would so be all about it. Now, I hope I'm not totally all over the place. I'm just a little bit excited because I really had fun doing this. And additionally, I also want to say that I actually was, in case some of you guys catch this, I really was inspired by Stila Cosmetics. Now, I know it's kind of funny and a little bit coincidental that I was inspired by Stila because a lot of people have said, and I didn't realize this at first because I wasn't familiar with Stila Cosmetics palettes. I didn't really know they even had palettes, but a lot of people have said that the Milani Cosmetics palettes that look just like the Stila ones, and after browsing their site I realized that like, wow, even this color schemes of the ones that Milani has come out with do look fairly similar to the Stila one. So I'm just like, oh, that's interesting. So anyways, this was kind of just a coincidence, but I saw that Stila came out fairly recently with their new like vivid and bright collection of eyeshadows, as well as their like liquid eyeshadows, and I saw swatches of them. They have like the colorful ones and then like a silver and a gold one, but when I saw the colorful ones right next to each other, I was like, that's it, that's what I want. I want all of those but in a palette, and I would love Milani to do it because I already know the quality is like high-end, but the price tag's really good. So I hope that doesn't like offend anybody, like, oh my gosh, you're trying to steal from the Stila Cosmetics. I'm not, it's just but I did take inspiration, I admit that. Alright, now aside from those first four shades in the first column, the rest of the shades in here are actually shades that I grabbed from Milani palettes. Most of them I tweaked the color just a little bit, except for the vibrant blue shade. That one is pretty much exactly the same as another one I found in one of their other palettes. So I believe that they could do some of these shades. They just really have to tweak some of the shades and just put this together. Like just do it. I know it's not as easy as just like tweaking saturation and stuff, and when you're editing, you know, I know making makeup and creating colors is not as easy as that, but I would love to see them come out with this. I would just freak out. I would buy it instant. I would be so happy. So with all that, let's just go ahead and get into it. So as you can see, I'm going to put up on the screen my picture. I did just kind of take one of their palettes and then kind of photoshopped in the colors. And as I already said, the first row are actually exactly from the Stila liquid shadows, and it's the swatches that they have on their website put in here. I didn't adjust them any other way. Now if this were in a palette and as a shadow, I'm sure that they might look a little bit different, but this is what I would just love to see. Hey babes, I just want to pop in really quick just to say that since filming this video and creating my little palette design here, I was looking more at Milani's website and noticed they actually do have similar shades to 3 of the first shades I mentioned, the Gemstone shades. So I am even more convinced that this palette can totally be a reality since they already have these kind of shades available. They're just gonna kind of, you know, tweak it and put it in a new palette. So the first one is Garnet, and I basically named them all the same because this palette really is like a gemstone inspired palette. That's what I would just love. So the first one's Garnet, then there's Amethyst, and then Emerald, and then Sapphire. Those shades together really spoke to me. They're shades that are just really pretty. I feel like they're unique enough because I don't think, and you guys can correct me if I'm wrong, tell me and point me in the direction of palettes that have a gemstone theme like this with these colors. There might be gemstone palettes, but they're either all shimmers with no mattes and no transitions, so it's just kind of like you have to mix it with other palettes, or there's like, I don't know, not all of these shades are included. I don't know, there's just something about those 4 shades that really was like, oh, I need them all. Now, even though me personally, I don't wear a lot of blues, I still think it just would be perfect in this palette because I know a lot of people do like blues. A lot of people are craving blues in palettes, and I think that it would help me step out of my comfort zone because I think you could kind of pair a lot of these colors together, or some of these colors side by side, and they would look really nice together. I think the blue and the green would look really great together. I think the Amethyst and the Garnet would look good together. I think that even the Amethyst and the Sapphire would look good together. You kind of just like put them together or wear them on their own. I just think they go so well together. So that's kind of like what I did for the first row. I just really wanted those staple gemstone colors in there, and I want them to be like foiled metallic-y like shadows, kind of like the gold shade that is in their Bold Obsessions palette. Like, I really love the texture of that one. I would love them to be like just like that one. Moving on to the second row. The second row is basically like the first row except for all matte. And I know this was accidental too. I didn't really realize this until I actually put them together. I was like, oh my gosh, it's actually starting to look like those NYX palette where it's like they have the different colors and then it like kind of goes from metallic to satin to matte, and I was like, I guess it's not that unique, but it kind of is because I didn't go like all exactly the same color, but I did want the second row to be all matte versions of the first row. So the first one is a matte burgundy. Now this one I don't want to be exactly, I guess, like the Garnet. I really want it to be a rich, dark, deep matte burgundy shade that I just think would pair well and kind of add some depth and dimension in the crease or in the outer corner if you're having Garnet over it. I think it would be so pretty. The next one is Royal Purple, and the shade names I kind of took, I searched on, I think it's Wikipedia, and I put like shades of green, shades of purple, shades of blue kind of a thing to kind of see what the colors were called, and so I kind of matched up. So if you look on Wikipedia, in case, because I know screens look different, but if you look up like Royal Purple or whatever on Wikipedia, that'll be the shade that kind of comes up. So anyways, this is one that I pulled from another Milani palette, and I kind of just tweaked it a little bit to make it more of a neutral, so it's not warm at all, it's not too cool, even though purple is a kind of a cool toned color in general, but it's just like a neutral purple that I just think would pair really well with, you know, amethyst or whatever you want to do. So then next up is Shamrock Green. Again, this is one that I wanted to have like a neutral color. I didn't want it to be too cool of a green tone. I didn't want it to be a warm green, just a perfect in the middle, mid-tone, neutral green shade. And when I looked up the colors on Wikipedia, it was Shamrock Green. I was like, that's the color. And again, that is a shade that I pulled from another Milani palette. I just tweaked it. And then the last one is Vibrant Blue. And this shade is literally the exact same as a shade that's in one of their other palettes. It's kind of one of their smaller palettes. So yeah, that would be kind of a repeat color, but it just worked so perfectly that I was like, there doesn't need to be any adjustments. Milani, just grab that shade and put it in there. That's one shadow already done and easy for you. But it's just a very vibrant blue. I want one that's just like a very vibrant blue that will just show up, bam, blue pigment on your eyes. And so yeah, I would hope that that would be what that is. So moving on to the last row, the third row, these are shades that I wanted to be like the complementary neutral shades that would just complement the other shadows well, because maybe you might disagree with me and think that I should have continued on with colors, but I just felt like I'm the type of person who likes to have pretty much everything that I want to do for a look in one palette. I hate having to grab other things. If it's maybe for like a highlight shade, fine, I can deal with that. But as far as like different transition shades and stuff like that, I want to have one palette. I don't want to have to reach for a bunch of different palettes to add on to a palette. I want to be able to have everything I need in one palette. And granted, this is a smaller palette, but I feel like this would make it so that you can have everything you need in the one palette and just grab this palette for your colorful looks and be done. You don't need to grab anything else. So what I did was add the staple highlight shade, and I made this a pink champagne shade. So it's a very light creamy highlight shade, but with a little tinge of pink in there, just to kind of make it a little more cool tone, make it work well. I think like that pinky shade would pair well with the garnet, it would pair well with the amethyst, it would pair well with all of these shades. In my opinion, I really think that it would as a highlight shade, and it would be kind of like a shimmery shade. The rest of these in this this third row are matte shades. So the next up, paired with in the purple row, is Warm Light Tan. Now, whereas most of the shades in this collection or in this palette are leaning a little bit more cool or neutral, I did want to have one somewhat warm shade in there just to kind of you know, transform a little bit, if need be, a look. Because if you pair something with a cool tone transition shade, it's gonna look different than if you pair it with a warm tone. I know that's kind of like a given. I'm just saying, I just wanted there to be one warm tone in there, so that's what I did for that. Next up is Chocolate Brown, and so this is just a deep, rich chocolate brown. I'll have that ability to add some depth to a look. I just think when I think of someone with brown eyes, I feel like green looks so amazing with brown eyes, and so does blue. Actually, so does purple. Looks really great on brown eyes, so I just felt like we needed that brown, rich brown color to go with and complement these shades. And so that's kind of like that staple, just brown that can either deepen up the transition shade or the crease or deepen up the outer V. And then lastly, I went in with Onyx, which is a black shade. It's a matte again. And I did that because, again, it's like that one of those staple colors you need in every palette. And so you can deepen up even more. If that chocolate brown shade wasn't enough, you could deepen it up just a little bit more with that black, or use it as a liner or on your bottom. Again, black is going to go well with anything. It can deepen up any of the shades, the burgundy, the purple, anything like that. And just make it just that much more rich, if that makes sense. But that's my take on a palette that I would love to see Milani Cosmetics come out with. I don't know if it's necessarily anything super revolutionary or anything. It's just when I was kind of sitting down and playing around with editing a palette together, this is something I would love, 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 love to see, especially at the price range, especially at Milani's quality, and just I think it would be kind of unique. Maybe I'm wrong, but I feel like it kind of would be. These are colors I don't feel like you see a lot together in one single palette. But anyways, I really had a lot of fun putting this palette together and creating a palette. I really hope you guys enjoyed hearing about it and seeing my own little creation and hearing what inspired me and all that kind of stuff. I'd love to know what you think of it. And if you've ever done a video like this where you've kind of created your own palette, your own wish list kind of a palette that you would like to see someone create, I would love to see it. Share it, and I would love to go watch and see any palette creations. So that's it. With all that being said, I just want to thank you guys so much for watching, and until next time, much love and hugs to you. Bye, beauty babes.